Hi, I'm excited as I make this Management Consulting Encyclopedia. This video has 10 power-packed videos on consulting and is a one-stop document for anyone preparing for top MBA applications with a consulting story. This video will help you in both your interviews and your essays, and this video will help you address the DNA of your story, which is your past experiences and your future aspirations in consulting, and how will the school become a very strategic fit. The goal of the Consulting Encyclopedia is to give a very promising transition to everyone looking for top MBA admissions with consulting as the prime orientation. The goal is to make the strongest impact in getting you admitted. I want you to watch it at your own pace and convenience and get admitted to your target schools. Now, let us move forward and quickly look at the agenda of 10 videos in the Consulting Encyclopedia. First one is most common mistakes that the applicants make in interviews and essays while picking management consulting as a career. These mistakes arise from the lack of understanding of consulting industry or lack of a clear expression connecting your past with your future goals and the inability to clearly express why MBA is needed for consulting. Other than job placements, why do you want to do an MBA in order to transition into a consulting career? Do you know, B schools do not see themselves as simply placement agencies, and candidates don't get it. This video will help you address these mistakes and help you create a very powerful consulting story. The next one is Introduction to Management Consulting Careers. This video will help you form a strong background of consulting industry, and in order to build a strong connection between your past and your future in consulting, in this video I'll talk about 1. What is the need to have the consulting industry? Then we look at some examples of real consulting projects from top tier consulting firms, and we will look at what do these firms actually do. This will help you in creating strong essays and have promising responses in your interviews. Then we look at the different categories of consulting firms. And then, other than consulting firms, what are the firms that hire for internal consulting positions in the industry? In the next section, we will look at the career path of a consultant, the short-term and the long-term goals. We will go deeper into your skill sets. We'll try to understand what are the different roles you will play as you grow in the consulting industry and what skill sets are needed to perform those roles. This will help you address your short-term, long-term goals throughout your applications, and moreover, this part will make you very conversational in defending your stories in your discussions with the admission committee members and even the alumni interviews who are very specific about the goals part of the story. The next video will focus on why this school. Do you know, every school will have this question: how will an MBA from our school help you in your career in consulting? They really want to find out why you have chosen them, and not for placements or networking or not even for international exposure. These factors are taken for granted the moment you decide to apply and the moment you create a user ID on the school's website. What they want to find out is, what are the prime factors that led you to apply to the MBA program of that top tier school? And you're going to face this in both essays and interviews. Why MBA from the school? And I want you to give them strongest reasons for the role an MBA and a particular school will play in your consulting career. And do you know what the schools want to know from you? They want to find out that if you had a McKinsey job starting next Monday without an MBA, what are the major challenges you will face in performing those roles, and how will an MBA from that particular school address those challenges? And we will look at these factors in this part of the video. Then we will have a video on networking. Now, in order to create a very strong response for why MBA from our school, you will be networking with the existing students and the alumni across the world. Some of you unfortunately do not understand the value of networking and do not know how to get started, and your research is limited to the website of your target programs, or you stay limited to internet research. And I call that secondary research, and it does not help. Well, don't worry, let's start with primary research now. This video will also help you in various resources such as what questions to ask them, how will you engage them in a 30-minute conversation, how to conduct research or speak with existing students and alumni to understand the hiring practices in consulting. And this part will help you draw a roadmap. How will the school help you in building a career in consulting? And clearly tell the school what role will MBA play in your consulting career. We'll look at how to find existing students. What are the timelines to reach out to them? We will also look at the checklist of items needed before you start networking with them or before you start networking conversations with them. This section will help you conduct your due diligence and train you on networking with the school community, and will cover everything about why to network, when to network, and how to network, what questions to ask. Remember, our goal of networking is not to build relationships. You can do that later. Our goal is to conduct due diligence and build the brightest response to how will our school help you in building a career in consulting. Look at the next video. In the next one, we'll look at best practices. What should you do to maximize your chances of acceptance? And this will help you across your interviews and the essays. And this is a very important section. Do not skip this one. It can really help you turn around both your interviews and the essays. In this section, we will look at things such as how to talk about consulting engagements in your essays and interviews. How is your work from the past related to what happens in Bain, BCG, McKinsey, and the other consulting firms? We will look at the sample engagements given in this video. Now, in this section, we also want to train you on transferable skill sets. Be ready to give them an access to the transferable skill sets, and what are some of the things that are needed for consulting career, and what can you bring up from your past experiences. We will look at the complete list for that. We'll also look at building strong correlation with the past. What gaps from the past made you identify that you want to be a consultant? Why consulting? What inspired you from the past? How to draw that correlation and make the school understand that picking consulting career is an informed decision for you, and it's not coming out of nowhere. This section will also enable you to create unique stories. Your reasons from the past will be unique, and even the correlations and the consulting goals. This will be a very, very strong differentiator. Next section, long-term goals. Recognize this. This is a very common question across all the schools. And this section will have a very strong impact on both interviews and the essays. What should be your long-term goals if you're picking consulting as a short-term career option? This is another important area that every applicant needs to address. And you have to have very well-connected goals. And I know that many applicants fail to establish the connection, and they end up creating very pedestrian stories. And in this video, I'll give you as many as 7 different possibilities that you can explore in the long term after a consulting career in the short term. I'll also help you connect the dots. You'll be able to understand how they are connected. Even the admission committee members will be able to understand the connection and will value it. And I think that matters. The next section is a very promising section. I know that most of you will love it. We'll shortlist your schools for consulting. Surprising. With so many options across the world, how to shortlist schools for consulting? What makes a school a strong consulting school? What factors to look at while shortlisting these schools? And in this part of the video, I will first help you identify the major consulting schools across the world. Then, I will also classify the profile of the applicants and give them different ratings on the basis of various factors in your candidature. On the basis of this part of the video, you will also be able to learn the shortlisting practice yourself. And you should be able to identify the top consulting schools for yourself on the basis of the ratings that you will give to your profile. I'll also encourage you to watch video 4 of Interviews Ninja's Management Consulting Encyclopedia again after watching video number 8. I know that combining these two, you should be able to independently manage the school shortlisting process for yourself. Also, while the school shortlisting should be customized and a cookie cutter approach cannot assess the soft variables in the stories of the applicants, and I'm aware of that, the goal of this video is to enable you and every applicant to identify the schools with maximum possible accuracy. You should be able to make an informed decision while picking up the target schools. Next video will help you create your own consulting essays. Imagine independently working on your essays. We will look at how to create strong consulting essays for business schools. In this part of this video, I will show you the goals essays that are representative of many applicants looking for management consulting careers. And I have handpicked the most essential topics so as to maximize the effectiveness of this entire exercise. I'll walk you through some of the deficiencies in those essays, and you will be able to understand why the stories are not very convincing. And then I will turn around those essays and make a very convincing storyline. I've intentionally chosen a very average profile and have not planted any out of the world applicants, and I want you to pay attention to how a pedestrian story can have a very, very convincing story or very, very convincing reasons for an admissions committee member. The last section is mock interview, and this is the last video of the Interview Ninja's Management Consulting Encyclopedia. Once you get a great understanding of the consulting careers, applications, and once you know how to create a coherent expression while picking up a consulting career, watch this video at the end. It is a full-length mock interview with transcripts of the most difficult questions related to consulting. I want to warn you, copying the language may not be a great idea, but you can use the structure to create your own responses. And while listening to these questions, draw parallels with your own professional career. Identify your skill sets. Create your own expression for the short-term and the long-term goals. And the description is comprehensive enough, and the animations on the screen are friendly enough to support you with both text and the sound on the screen. And at any point during the mock interview, if you want to take notes, have your resume in front of you. Pause the video and take notes, and the answers are very, very well structured. The reasons are mutually exclusive without any overlaps. I want you to follow the same strategy when you are in your real interviews. Some of the questions discussed in the mock interview are the following, and you can pause the video before moving forward if you want. I'll be looking at why are you looking at an MBA at this stage? Well, you've been working for this organization for a long time. How do you think you're very well suited for consulting? I'll be looking at your transferable skill sets, or have you found out more about any consulting firms, or what are some of the things that you're looking at in the long term, and what are some of the things you need to gain from consulting industry in order to get there. I want you to pause the video and look at these questions before moving forward. Now, this is the end of the description of the 10 videos, and these videos will support you at different stages of your preparation for the top MBA applications and are comprehensive enough to get you a smooth transition to a top tier consulting firm. Now, let me quickly walk you through who will need it, what kind of applicant will need it, or what kind of person will need it. Well, anyone applying to a top tier MBA program with a consulting focus will need this video. Anyone who sort of knows that he wants to have a consulting story but does not know enough about the industry and does not know how to create short-term, long-term stories for consulting industry and have a very promising expression for the business school will need this video. If you're heading out for your top MBA interview and want to be prepared for even the toughest questions, such as tell me about your career progression and why consulting is the right choice for you, or what kind of consulting projects are you looking for post MBA? I know that some of you do not understand the nature of consulting projects or how to even get started with the research and how to weave them into your own story, into your own goals. And this video will enable you to do that as well. We'll also look at what inspired you to look at management consulting as a career. Or tell me, how will my school specifically help you in consulting? Well, this video is for you. If you're writing your short-term and long-term goals essays and are struggling with the expression that requires you to connect your past with future, this will help you with sample essays and concepts. It will help you maximize your chances. And I know one thing peculiar about top B school interviews and applications, they want to really find out whether you know your goal story very well or not, and how much do you know about them. If you want to interview with an admissions committee member and give an impression that makes them believe you think like a management consulting already, or you think like a management consultant, so to speak, already, this video is going to help you do so. When they ask you, be specific. How will my school help you in building a career in consulting? And you want to build the strongest and most relevant response for that, this video is definitely going to make a very strong impact on you and your stories in both your interviews and the essays. In order to subscribe to this video for both your essays and applications, you can visit interviewninjas.com. Thank you so much for watching this, and I wish you a very strong luck, an amazing outcome, and good luck for your admits. Congratulations on your first step of subscribing to the Management Consulting Encyclopedia. So let us get started with the first one and get you admitted into Management Consulting.